G'day, guys. What an action-packed Friday night footy. A lot of fantasy-relevant players were in those games. Unfortunately, the Knights versus Eels had a lot of fantasy-relevant guys, so we all had to sit through that shit show of a game. The Knights just look absolutely awful at the moment. Yeah, no words. They've had a few decent halves lately. Obviously, choked a 20-0 lead to the Titans last week, which is shocking. And yeah, they just had nothing last night, which isn't good for the Knights boys. It was a bit of a mixed bag all round for fantasy last night. A lot of people underperformed. There weren't too many that exceeded their value too much. Bit of news as well. Dylan Lucas, he's Gornski's for 1 to 3 weeks most likely. He's got the same injury as Toby Couchman. So Toby Couchman played on the next week, which was good, but then re-aggravated that injury and he's out for 3 weeks now. So very similar case for Dylan Lucas by the looks of it, according to NRL Physio. I wouldn't have a clue, obviously. So yeah, he's a chance to play next week. Otherwise, he's out for 1 to 3 weeks, which means he's going to miss round 12. I think it's an easy hold for now, but yeah, just throws another spanner in the works for round 12. So that's why I've talked about getting to one player away for round 12, just in case there's any injuries. Yeah, and having loop options as well. It really does throw a spanner in my works. For my loop options, I might have to play Kartonga and Toya now, so I'm going to have to reassess. Kind of glad I didn't bring in Herbie now, because, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. So Fletcher Sharp made more sense. Didn't really want to bring in Fletcher Sharp, so a bit disappointed he got his worst score of the year, but it's all right. It's one of those decisions that made more sense for my team. And I've had a few that I've been forced into, like Aaron Clark and Riley Smith I didn't really want a couple of weeks ago, and I had to get them, essentially, like for the construction of my team, and it worked out well. So you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Don't be too results-oriented. A 31's fine. Everyone has them, so like it's not a massive drama. I played Kartonga over Toya, which was good. He got 14 more, so that's solid. I was worried about not having a loop option this week, trading out Yo, Cleary, and Marzu. But yeah, it worked out okay so far. I was never going to play Toya over Riley Smith, so that's fine. So Riley Smith getting a 38 is good. It was really between Riley Smith and Tallis Duncan, so that one will be decided. But yeah, great that I left Iongi and Savala on the bench and played Kartonga over Toya, so worked out pretty well. If my if my bench had outperformed Riley Smith, I would have been a bit disappointed because I would have lost a lot of value on a Cleary trade, just like points-wise, because I was obviously gaining a few over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, if it hadn't worked out this week without having a loop option, I would have lost a lot of value. So it would have been a bit disappointing, but worked out well for once, which is good. So yeah, nothing too much to say about my team. I'll get into both the games recap. I'll move that up a bit higher. Yeah, so Lomax took it out with a 67, the top score. He looked phenomenal. Obviously, I think he was rushing back a little bit this week to put his hand up for Origin, and yeah, he was phenomenal with 271 metres. Yeah, he's really put his hand up. He's going to be hard not to pick. I know Laurie Daly said he wants to pick on form rather than guys who have been in the team previously. But yeah, like even one game of form, he looked phenomenal. Jacob Carraz looked really good last night as well. So it's really interesting. I'm actually considering the fact that Brian To'o might miss out, but that means Lomax or Carraz has to play on the left, which isn't a massive issue, but I don't know if he'll do it. But that's what I do personally. Obviously, To'o has been out for a while, and we'll see what he looks like this week. But yeah, like Lomax and Carraz are clearly the two form wingers of the comp. Even though Lomax just came back, so it'd be hard to go past either of them. So yeah, he looked really good. Good to have him back. Obviously not fantasy relevant, but yeah, it was good to have him back in real life. Moses with a 62, yeah, that's really good. 656 kick meters is crazy, but he did a bit of everything. Missed tackles 4, as you'd expect from him, but yeah, really solid game, and he really controlled that game for the Eels. Jack Williams looked really good. Maybe making himself an option for round 12, especially playing edge with Dylan Lucas potentially out, but his role's a bit mixed. He doesn't have too much value and only plays round 12, doesn't play round 15 or 18, so yeah, that's interesting. Probably one to consider, but only really if you need that price point. KPP, he looked like he was going to get a monster score. He was on 43 with like 60 minutes to go, and then got sin binned. Just a stupid thing. It was like they had 3 set restarts on like the Eels on the Eels line, and yeah, he just shoves the the guy playing the ball. So stupid as. So lost 7 points there. So he was on 50, I think, and then went down to 43 after the sin bin. That's right. And then came on with like 10 minutes to go and pumped out another 15. So he was really good. He even lost his tackle break as well. So he clearly had at least 1 or 2 tackle breaks, but anyway, you'll take a 58. Obviously, if you went him over Lucas, you're probably cheering now with Lucas's injury, but really solid game from him as a nice differential. Kartonga, 58 was really solid. Did heaps of work in defense, and he's getting the ball way more now, and he's looking to push that offload. You could sort of see in his first couple of weeks that he did want to offload the ball, so there were good signs. But he looks like he's got free reign now. He's got the green light to do it, and had 3 of them. I think he tried to push 1, which turned into an error. But I mean, you'll take that if he's getting 12 points from 3 offloads anyway. So keep pushing him out, son. Penasini, don't know why I clicked on him. 55's good, but who cares? He's not really fantasy relevant. Dylan Brown was a nice differential I talked about. 52 solid. He's a bit of an awkward price at 600k, only plays round 12, but he did a job. Dylan Walker looked good in real life, not fantasy relevant, but I think he ended up taking a few minutes off Riley Smith at the back end of that game. I don't know if he moved into hooker, it looked like he did, but that was mainly just because of the blowout, which is fine. Addo Carr with another good score with 50. I've seen a few people talking about him. He's too high priced now, and he's going to have 20s in his game. He's rocks and diamonds. Maybe a shout for Origin as well on that left-hand side if they don't go with To'o, but surely you go Kirez and Lomax. Kalen Ponga with a 43. It's a decent fantasy score. He showed a few flashes. 250 metres is awesome. A couple of line breaks. He looked good in points, but that Knights attack was shocking. They probably had 15 errors. They just couldn't control the ball. So you'll take a 43 in that sort of game, but it's worrying. I don't even know if he makes Origin anymore. I think they might be forced to play him just with Walshy out unless they move Hammer to fullback, but I don't know who goes in centres unless they maybe pick up a Dane Gagai or something. But again, then you're picking another Knights anyway, so don't really know what's going to happen. He probably makes it just because of his pedigree, and he is good in the Origin arena, but he's clearly carrying something, and the Knights are just shambles. It's really concerning if you were a fan. Dylan Lucas with a 42 is totally fine. Bradman Best is out for a month or 2, so Dylan Lucas moved to centre. That won't continue. I'm sure he'll be back in the edge when he returns from injury. It's just, I assume they didn't have any winger fullbacks or centres on the bench or extended reserves, so they were forced to play Lucas in the centres, especially with Cant on the bench. It's an easy swap. But I'd assume he goes back to the second row once he returns, whenever that is. 42 solid. It's just that injury is concerning. He has good history at centres anyway. I think he averages 50 or so, which is good. He's had a few tries, but you're going to expect more tries if he is playing centres. Sam Riney looked good. I know a few people picked him up a while ago. You'll take a 39 if you still have him. Riley Smith with a 38. He was probably going to get a 45 or so. No missed tackles, which is awesome. It's just 38 tackles. That's literally all he did, apart from 1 run for 9 metres. You'll take that for sure. He actually had 2 missed tackles at one stage of the game. He had one after 3 minutes, and there was no chance he had a missed tackle. So I was going to go back and rewatch it just to see if I could find it. But he got taken off him in the end, which is good. But that's all he offered. 38 tackles is fine in that sort of game. Eels dominated possession. They probably had close to 60%. And no misses is really good for him, considering we've become accustomed to 6 missed tackles for him. So if he had that sort of game last night, he would have got somewhere in the 20s. So glad we avoided that one, especially since I played him. Hopgood with a 36. He's not his bad form continues, but his poor minutes continues and his bad fantasy scores continue. So don't know what his role is anymore. It's so confusing. I don't know why he's not playing 60 plus. He's going to become a decent option down the track. He obviously misses round 15 and 18, so he's probably going to get to a really nice price point when he's going to miss the main buys. So I don't know if anyone will ever pick him up, but he will get enticing soon enough, especially if that role starts to change. Dane Gagai with a 35 in game 300. What a performance in game 300. They did fuck all for him. So Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't great, but he had 4 fantasy points after like 60 minutes, so you'll take a 35 for sure. Ryan Madison, yeah, he came back, which is good to see. I actually like Ryan Madison. He's a bit of a cat, but I like his game. He's got a perfect fantasy mold, but yeah, he's never going to get minutes. Coach hates him. I think the team hates him. Yeah, he doesn't have a good rep around the league, but in terms of fantasy player, I like him. Like watching him play. Fletcher Sharp, talked about him with a 31. Yeah, it's disappointing. 5 missed tackles is his most for the year. Just didn't run the ball at all. Like 44 metres has got to be his lowest for the season. Just didn't look to be involved. I do like that he moves from the left to the right side of the field, which is really good, so he looks to get involved. But yeah, last night they just couldn't do anything, and his game is more off offloads, and he's the support play. So if they're not doing that, if they're not holding the ball, then he's going to have a poor game. So yeah, not concerned by any means. I have talked about him like all season, saying he's going to have shit games just because he doesn't kick as a half. So it's bound to happen. It just sucks it was the week I brought him in when I didn't even really want to bring him in. But yeah, 31's fine. He's probably 80+% owned in the relevant teams, so no concerns there. Jacob Saifidi with a 31. Not only is that disappointing fantasy score, he's also likely to play Origin now. Buzz has said he's playing over Terrell May. And we knew Terrell May was out. We heard that news a couple of days ago. But yeah, Jacob Saifidi is the one they're replacing him with, apparently. So I'm a New South Wales fan, so it fucking sucks. But I don't know what the hell they're doing. Laurie Daly, pull your head out, mate. So yeah, if you picked him up, there was a bit of interest about him the last couple of weeks. I talked about his 200 metres wouldn't continue because he had 2 straight, but that was his only 2 games in the NRL. Yeah, that went down. That more than halved. So yeah, disappointing fantasy score, and now he's playing Origin. So assuming he makes Origin, we'll find out after the end of the week. Yeah, you can just sell him off to someone who plays, especially if you have Dylan Lucas as well. You've just lost 2 numbers unexpectedly. And shit like that always happens coming to the major buy rounds. It doesn't matter how much you plan. Things are going to turn up. So, yeah, you just can't expect it. Thomas Kant played 80, got a 29, which is disappointing. 8 missed tackles, which is crazy. He did shift into the centres, I believe, when Dylan Lucas came off, but that was for like 4 minutes. So, yeah, he literally played 76 minutes at edge and had a terrible score, which sucks. He could have potentially been a decent option for Origin for the buy round, if Dylan Lucas is out for about 3 weeks. But, yeah, I wouldn't have done it anyway, and, yeah, especially not after a 29. Yongi with a 23, yeah, rocks and diamonds he is. Didn't get involved in any of the try assist or anything like that, so you're going to expect a bad score. He does look really involved, like 150 metres probably doesn't do him justice. He was attacking the ball well. He looks to get that offload. If a couple more went his way, he probably would have had a decent score. And yeah, he busts a lot of tackles, so I'll be looping him next week, assuming I still can. I think he's fine to keep for round 12, and then you can look to ship him off after that. So yeah, that was that game. Absolutely rubbish game, but a lot of fantasy relevant guys. I don't know about you, but I don't really care if the game's good or bad. If I'm focusing on fantasy. If I don't have any fantasy players, that to me is a bad game. But if I do have some, that's an awesome game. Or even if there's popular guys in a game that I'm rooting against. But yeah, Roosters versus Bulldogs, that was an actual good game. I didn't have any fantasy players apart from Savala and Toya on the bench. But there's so much fantasy interest in the Roosters. So I was rooting against a lot of these boys, which worked well for me. Yeah, cracker game. Roosters got out to a 14-0 lead, and Bulldogs came back again. Wasn't quite 20-0 this week, but yeah, they just look really good at the moment. They're so gutsy. They've got so much heart, and yeah, it was good to see them get the win. Mark Nwanga-Nituase with a 62. 6 errors. I think 4 of them were off bomb kicks, so he looked a bit scattered under the high ball. He's usually really reliable. I think his confidence was just shook. There was a Burden bomb that, yeah, no one was ever going to catch that. But that was after 2 other errors. So, yeah, I think his confidence was just a bit shattered, but probably scored the try of the year or close to anyway. Yeah, ridiculous try. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Really good player. His footy IQ is phenomenal. He had a really nice offload to Robert Toya as well, which should have led to a try, but Toya drops it over the line. Yeah, looks like a really cracking NRL player in real life. I don't know how fantasy relevant he's going to be moving forward, but yeah, really, really good player. And yeah, pumped out a 62. He keeps scoring tries, which is good. Max King with a 59. He was the one I wanted to bring in ideally over Fletcher Sharp, so that's a bit annoying, but yeah, it just didn't make sense for me to get King this week in the end. I talked about it all week. Just wait till next week to get your mids if you can, just because we're going to know which options are the best. And yeah, Max King with 55 minutes is really solid for him, so he's definitely a good option for next week. I'm just waiting to see if McInnes misses Origin as well, because he's probably the standout. But yeah, you've also got like AFB and Fahu White, stuff like that, which will make a bit more sense after this week. So yeah, Maxi King put his hand up with a 59 in 55 minutes, which is really solid. Had one turnover tackle, which boosted his score a little bit, and an offload, which I don't think he gets too many of those. But yeah, really good performance. Not too many negatives, just the one error. So yeah, really solid. Connor Watson with a 58 is really good. 56 tackles is crazy. Yeah, it looks like one of his best performances recently, which is good. I assume he plays Origin, but if he doesn't, he's coming straight into my team. Matty Burton with a 56. I talked about him as a nice differential as well. Looked like he was struggling fantasy-wise early, but after that try and a few goals and stuff like that, he pumped out a decent score for 56. I am considering him next week as well. He's a bit rocks and diamonds as well, but he'll take the goal kicking off Stephen Crichton when he's on Origin duties. And yeah, if I can't afford a Fogarty or like Katoa, depending on who I want, I might even shift to a Burton so then I can get a Max King or McInnes over in Fahu White. Reid Marnie with a 45. Yep, talked about him. I thought his 80 minutes would continue from now on, even though he had 44 and 55 minutes in a couple of games. 45 isn't the best score. I think he's priced at about 40, so beat that. 49 tackles is solid as always, but yeah, like Riley Smith, he doesn't do a ton of other things. Jacob Carraz with a 44. He looked like he was on his way to 80 plus again. He had 52 after like 55 or 60 minutes, so I was really nervous. He had a really nice line break where the defense was just nowhere to be seen. I think he busted 4 tackles in that play. Line break, then pass to Kurt Mann, was it? I can't remember who. But yeah, it was a bit of a dodgy pass, a bit behind him, so he didn't get the try assist, unfortunately, for owners. But yeah, then pumped out an error, missed tackle, didn't really get involved after that, and he lost 3 tackle breaks in updates, which is just absurd. Like, I'm a non-owner, so I'm not biased here at all. Like, I'm stoked to see he lost missed 3 tackle breaks. But, like, that is ridiculous. I get so annoyed at the stats keepers because every week they are so inconsistent. Like Kartonga as well, who I do own. He had a clear tackle break where, like, someone attacked his legs, slipped right off, he ran another 5 meters, and he didn't get a tackle break for that and didn't get it in updates. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Kiraz had 4 tackle breaks in one run. A couple of plays later, he had 2 tackle breaks, and he was already on 2 before that, or one or 2 before that, and then goes down to 5. And, like, they were clear-cut tackle breaks. So, don't know what they're doing. Don't know how he lost 3 in updates. I'm happy as a non-owner, but yeah, I think you're a bit stiffed if you do own him, which, like, over 50% of the relevant teams do. Really good performance in real life. Didn't score a try, which is why his score wasn't massively high. But yeah, those offloads are crazy. Like, he just pushes them out so late, and, like, every time it's like that Greg Marzu role. Like, every time off their line, they're going to look for that offload if they're not pumping out heaps of meters. And it's really important for their team. So, yeah, I can't see it not continuing. And he gets heaps of tackle breaks. He's really involved. So, yeah, really good player if he doesn't play Origin. I'm certainly bringing him in next week if I can. But, yeah, it'll just depend on if he plays Origin. I think he should be a lock for Origin, but I think it's about a 50-50 at this stage. Siwa Wong with a 44. Not too bad. I think it's priced at 47, so pretty much bang on. So that's totally fine. No offloads, no tackle break. 2 tackle breaks, no try assist, try. So not many attacking stats, but a 44 is good in base. Sandon Smith with a 44. Yep, pretty standard game from him. Rob Toya with a 44. I think he was on 40 before update, so really good there. He got a turnover tackle, line break. Should have had a try, which cost him it was like a 10-point swing because the try turned into an error. So, yeah, could have easily got a 55. Yeah, if you played him, a 44 is fine. It is what it is. It's a pretty good score unless you played him over Kartonga, unfortunately. But yeah, really good. 21 tackles is solid. 111 metres is good. He'll be a good option next week, and then we'll see what his break-even is, see where he's priced at. I think he had a break-even at like 5 this week, so he'll go up to about 550k, which is good. And yeah, if he gets up to close to 600, I'm probably going to sell him, even though he does have good buy coverage. So, totally team dependent, but yeah. Tedesco with a 43. He looked pretty involved. I'm surprised he only got a 43, to be honest. He had that try assist very early on in the game and then was on 13 at halftime or something. But yeah, he looked really involved. I thought he had a good NRL game, but just didn't pump out a massive fantasy score. I am way more excited about Kiraz next week than Tedesco if they were both to miss Origin, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. Victor Radley with a 38. I talked about him as a little bit of a differential, but too scary with his concussion, suspension history. He did go on report, I think, last night, or at least had a high tackle. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but yeah, bit too rich for my blood. Hayes in the second row, pumped out a 38 in 64 minutes. Yeah, he wasn't really an option. I didn't talk about him at all, just because it's a bit of an awkward price point. But yeah, he was solid. Who else? Nafahu White, 33 and 44 is disappointing. In my plans, I'm getting him in next week. I don't know if I can after that. I don't really care about the 33. Like, I care more about their role, and 44 minutes was just a bit disappointing. They might have just been doing that because they know they're going to play him more over the next couple of weeks, like in the Origin period. But yeah, I don't know. 44 minutes is a bit scary, and he wasn't super involved. He does have lower tackle counts than most middle forwards, so 24's slightly, probably about average for him. Yeah, just didn't really have any tackle breaks, offloads, anything like that. So yeah, not concerned about the 33. It's just those minutes that are a bit concerning. If you did pick him up this week, sucks, but at least he plays edge, which will help if Lucas is out next week. Hugo Savala with the 27. Yeah, it is what it is. I think he had 22 before update, so he picked up another 5. I don't know how. I didn't see what his score was made up of because I didn't play him. But yeah, you'll take the extra 5 points. Hopefully you didn't have to play him this week. He had a really low break even, so he'll make more money, which is good. Yeah, ideally you're not playing him week to week, but his good buy coverage, he was obviously a cheap enabler at 230k, so he's done his job. Hopefully he pumps out a good score next week for you. I'm actually rooting against him because I have options to bring in a Fogarty or someone like that. So I'm kind of rooting against him since he's so highly owned, but we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that was about it. Really interesting night for fantasy. I think we're going to have some lower scores this week based on that because a lot of people would have played at least 5 players last night. Probably some people up to 10 because obviously the Knights, Roosters and Eels all have so many fantasy relevant guys. Like I had 7 guys play. I had 3 of them on the bench. So yeah, it's going to be some low scores since most of them disappointed last night, but we'll see what happens over the coming games. And yeah, good luck this week, guys, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video.